Welcome to this how-to video where we will walk you through how to set up zero trust antivirus compliance policies. With the Citrix platform, you have the ability to apply zero trust policies at 3 different levels. The first policy is the pre-authentication policy that's going to validate the device posture before a user is able to see the login screen. The second policy are app authorization policies, and they will dynamically adjust which applications and resources a user can access based on their compliance. And finally, we have in-session policies that's going to continuously monitor the endpoint device and adjust in real time the user's session. So let's begin with pre-authentication policies. To start, we need to enable the device posture service within the Citrix platform. With the service enabled, we use the settings to define what is going to be the default behavior if no policy is applicable. In this case, we're going to use deny access. With the basic settings configured, we can go ahead and create our device posture policy. In this example, we're going to focus on the Windows platform and look for a policy rule on antivirus. Here we're going to select a specific antivirus vendor, and we're going to create a couple different conditions that's going to define whether our device is compliant or not. The first, we want real-time protection to be enabled. And the second, we want the antivirus definition files to be updated within the last 7 days. With the configuration complete, we go ahead and provide a name as well as a priority. And when we hit create, the policy is active. We can now test the policy to see how it impacts the user's experience. So when we log into Workspace, you can see the non-compliant endpoint device does not have an antivirus installed and running. They immediately are denied access and are unable to see the login screen. We want to go back and change the policy so that the user, if they're non-compliant, will be able to log in, but we're going to leverage app authorization policies to reduce the number of applications and resources they're able to access from this non-compliant endpoint device. So we go back in and we want to change the default behavior. So if a policy is not applicable, we want the device to be tagged as non-compliant. We're going to be able to leverage these tags within our Citrix DAS configuration to determine which delivery groups the users are authorized to access. So we'll go into delivery groups, and we're going to select one of our delivery groups, and we're going to configure the access policy for this delivery group so that it is going to leverage the compliant tag. So if the filter, which is Workspace, has a value of compliant, then they will have access to this particular delivery group and associated resources. We will do the same thing for our non-compliant delivery group, and this will have a different set of resources associated with it. So we go ahead and include connections that meet the criteria with a filter of Workspace and a value of non-compliant. With that configured, let's see how this impacts the user experience. In this case, the non-compliant endpoint device is able to see the login screen now. Citrix Workspace is tagging this device as non-compliant because it does not have a valid antivirus installed, and you can see the resources associated with it are different than the compliant device. We're going to take this one step further, and now we're going to configure in-session policies that's going to dynamically adjust the capabilities and the level of access within the resource the user is accessing. For this example, we're going to go into the Device Trust Console. And here we want to create a new context, and we want to provide it a name. Now the default value we're going to use for this context is going to be disabled. We will then run a test to see if Windows Defender is enabled. So we select the remote device, we select Windows Defender, and then we're looking at real-time protection. If this equals true, we want to change the disabled value to be enabled. We now jump over to Actions. So go ahead and give the action a name. and we're going to create a new trigger. And the trigger is going to be the context that we just created, except we're looking at if it equals disabled. So Windows Defender, the real-time protection is disabled. What we want to do is provide a message and deny them access. So we'll provide a title, we'll enter in a message, and then we're going to automatically sign out, disconnect, or lock the session within 60 seconds if they do not correct the issue, if they do not re-enable Defender real-time protection. So we'll go ahead and save this policy, and then we can test the impact that it has on the user experience. So here, our compliant device, they're able to access a virtual desktop. And then on the endpoint device, we're going to go ahead and disable Windows Defender real-time protection. And immediately, the user's session has been locked. So they're unable to interact with the session until they re-enable Defender's real-time protection. So that is how we take pre-authentication, app enumeration, and in-session monitoring, how we take these three types of zero trust policies to create an end-to-end device trust protection for our environment. Now, these policies can incorporate over 300 different data points, and as you saw, it provides dynamic responses and allows users to take immediate action to correct any policy violations they might have. To find out more, visit us at citrix.com.